The accessibility of studio equipment nowadays has made it so easy to be able to record yourself, whether you're a guitarist, a singer, a drummer, or any other type of musician. It's really easy now just to hit that record button and capture your art. But something that just isn't so easy is to make what you record sound interesting or harmonically rich, and most of the times it just kind of ends up sounding a little flat. Well, luckily for us, everyone over at JST has been cooking up something extra spicy just for this occasion. We're going to be looking at the new JST Heat from Joey Sturgis Tones. Let's get into it. JST Heat has risen from the pits of hell to help us add that secret spice that we've all been looking for. Whether you're wanting to enhance your tracks, or add warmth over a vocal piece, or even just make your sound design sound a lot more interesting, the JST Heat plugin has made it super easy to be able to do all of that, and obviously a lot more. So after messing around with this plugin for a bit now, I've come to the conclusion that the JST Heat plugin is a plugin that is made for a lot of different scenarios, and it's made itself a really valuable plugin to have. And it doesn't even matter whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started on your audio engineering career, the JST Heat plugin will be able to help just about anyone. So what is JST Heat exactly? Well, the short answer is that it is a multi-band distortion and saturation plugin, but when you look under the hood of JST Heat, it becomes something so much more with a ton of really helpful features at your disposal, like 18 different processing modes, which will help you add a bunch of different characteristics to your sound, analog modeled saturation, which will give you the color and warmth that you would expect out of a true piece of analog equipment, and of course, it gives you the ability to adjust the saturation on individual bands in the spectrum, which is probably one of my favorite features of the JST Heat plugin. But I say let's go ahead and jump into my DAW and see the different sounds that we can get using the JST Heat plugin. So when you load up the JST Heat plugin, this is pretty much what you're going to see right here. So smack dab in the middle is your heat knob. So this is kind of like your overall saturation and how much of the mode do you want to incorporate into your sound. On top, you're going to have your frequencies and your whole spectrum and a bunch of different parameters for you to mess around with. And I will warn you, especially this parameter right here where you're adding saturation on certain bands, be very careful with it because it is extremely powerful. As awesome as it is, be careful. And then down below here, you have a tone section with a low cut, a high cut, a steep switch, and a thump switch. And the thump switch is pretty powerful as well. I find myself not using that one too much because it just adds way too much thump into the sound that I'm incorporating it into. And then on the right hand side, you have your mix section. So basically a gain staging section. You have your auto, and I always have it on auto, just makes things so much easier. Of course, you have all of your 18 different modes that you can choose from up here. And then on top, you can go into like your presets, your factory presets. They always have a bunch of them, but I always like to just kind of figure stuff out myself. So I have a guitar part. I also have drums and I have bass in here. So since we are adding saturation, we're doing post-production type stuff, I'm wanting to hear everything kind of all together in the context of a full mix. So this is what we have so far. There is no saturation on anything. It is just straight out of the amp. So it sounds really good. You know, it sounds really nice, sounds heavy. We have some of those bendy notes in there and everything. It does sound just a little bit flat, and that's where the JST Heat plugin is going to come in. So I'm going to mess around with a few of the parameters here. Typically, I like to start with the heat knob and go from there. So let's go ahead and see what we have going on. So that's actually sounding really freaking good, kind of right off the bat there. So we are on the mode Just a Touch, and down below, JST has given us a few different hints on how to use each of the modes, which I find extremely helpful. So on Just a Touch, it says apply lightly to the master bus for a cohesive, polished feel. So I'm gonna say Just a Touch is probably mostly for a mastering kind of feel type thing, kind of that nice layer of polish over your mix. So let's go ahead and flip through some of the different modes and see which ones we have. I'm gonna play the song while we're flipping through them so you guys can kind of hear the context. You know, I'm really liking Extra Spice. I think Extra Spice is pretty much taking the cake for me on the guitars. It just adds such a nice sauce onto your guitar parts. This sounds absolutely awesome. So I want to show you guys what JST Heat sounds like on kick and snare. It's something really freaking cool. It adds so much presence and so much excitement in there. So we are on the kick drum right now, and I'm going to go ahead and play the song, and I'm going to turn a few knobs and show you guys what JST Heat does for the kick drum. Being in more of a metalcore song here, I'm going to want it to really cut through the mix and poke through, be very present and very exciting. You know, hell, I'm actually really liking it where it's at right there with Just a Touch, but let's go ahead and check it out on like drum power. You know, I'm still liking Just a Touch with it. It just kind of hits you in the chest, where drum power to me, it sounds like it has a little bit more of like a boxy kind of sound, almost like a cardboard box being hit. But let's move on to the snare and see what we got there. Yeah, you know, I think I'm landing on Extra Spicy for the snare as well. I'm really liking the characteristics that's just kind of bringing in there. It's adding that extra sauce. Obviously, there's still some parameters that I have to kind of mess around with and do a little bit of tweaking on, but this is a great start. You know, the JST Heat plugin is really just blowing me away. It is kind of proving to everyone that saturation really is your friend. This is awesome. Joey Sturgis Tones has cooked up something truly special here with JST Heat, and it really doesn't even matter whether you're a seasoned pro or someone that is just getting started on their audio engineering career. You're going to find a lot of use out of the JST Heat plugin, and a feature that I absolutely love, and it might seem like something pretty minimal, honestly, is the hints on each of the modes. So if you're ever wondering how to use a certain mode on the JST Heat plugin, JST gives you some pretty helpful hints down below. I know I'm definitely going to be using JST Heat on all of my future mixes. It definitely adds a lot of warmth, excitement, and richness, stuff that just really makes it stand apart from the rest, and I think that is awesome. But I want to hear what you guys think. Please let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the JST Heat plugin? Also, if you're wanting to get your hands on it, I will have the link for that down in the description below. If you're looking for a great amp simulator that will complement the JST Heat plugin, I recommend checking this video out right here. But don't forget, if you are enjoying my videos in any way, shape, or form, please consider hitting that subscribe button and that like button as well, just to let YouTube know that my video doesn't suck. And with that being said, my name is Chris with High Impact Audio, and I will see you guys next time.